Name's Chris Souza, fitness coordinator from King Campus. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. It's a beautiful day out. We finally got some good weather after a lot of rain. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. So we'll be going over a topic today that I really like. It's all about snacking. If you're anything like me, you'll get a lot out of this because I thoroughly enjoy snacking. Always wondering if I'm snacking on the right foods, what I should snack on or eat on during different parts of the day. We have a special guest today who'll be joining us. I'm just going to let her in here. She's a registered dietitian with Aramark. I'm just going to make sure she can get in. And good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Chris, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I just kind of did a brief intro on the topic that we'll be discussing. Said one of my favorite things is snacking. So this is Ivana Messick from Aramark. She's a registered dietitian. We'll be talking and discussing about all things snacking today. So thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks again for having me. This is an awesome topic, and I'm so excited to share a few tidbits of knowledge with everyone, and I hope it's beneficial.
I'm sure it will be.
We'll make a few changes.
Yeah. Before we get into it, because this is a lunch and learn, just wanted to pick your brain and see what you had for lunch today.
Well, I actually haven't had lunch yet, but my typical go-to, I know this will sound cliche, but I love a fully loaded salad. My favorite base is arugula with some, chickpeas and just a ton of vegetables like grated carrots, cucumbers, pretty much whatever they have in our salad bar in the fresh food company here at Brock. And yeah, just loading on the veggies and protein and as much variety as possible.
Nice, well-rounded meal. It's awesome that you have access to that. Fresh vegetables, protein, grains, and you can just kind of grab it and go. That's awesome.
Oh yes, I'm spoiled for sure.
Yeah. Today I'm not a soup guy, but the weather recently has called for some comfort food. So I have some soup, some turkey soup left over from Thanksgiving. Some turkey,
that
so I
sounds
just
delicious.
put that in a soup and throw a bunch of veggies, and I think I put rice noodles in it. So it's got some carbs, some protein, lots of veggies, obviously chicken broth or turkey broth as well. So yeah, it's I didn't make it too big of a batch because I'm not a big soup guy, but that's what I have for lunch today.
Hey, sounds well-rounded.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll dive into some snacking questions, and if you're anything like me, I've been snacking a lot lately. Pretty much all day. I just kind of graze. It's all healthy stuff, but just want to maybe give us some, as a professional, what are your pros and cons on snacking?
Yeah, for sure. So snacking has a lot of benefits. So just so that everyone's on the same page, when I think of snacking, I think of as far as portion size, because everyone has, a different appetite, different builds, different activity levels. So that definitely plays a role into it. So it's about half to a third of a typical meal for someone. And, definitely first, if you're snacking, you're trying to avoid being hungry. And I don't know, a little rule of thumb is if you have a break of at least 4 hours or more between your meals, it's a great idea to have a snack. Or if you know that you're not going to have, a typical schedule and that's a little bit of a bigger break. Or let's say, hey, you didn't have a hearty enough breakfast and you're hungry, then snacking is fantastic. But one thing snacking isn't, or at least shouldn't be, is a meal replacement, because like I said, it's about half your meal, right? So just keeping those portion sizes in mind and the timing. And yeah, also if you're working out, so after workout you're a little hungry and you're not going to eat for a couple hours, then that's another opportune time to have a snack.
Right. Okay. And when does it make more sense to have a snack instead of a meal?
Well, number one, I like to listen to my satiety cues. So when I say satiety, that means what are my hunger cues? How full or hungry am I ultimately? Um, like I said, not every day is the same. Not every day you don't eat the same thing, and sometimes you're hungrier than other days, and that's when it makes sense to snack, as well as you have a busy schedule. And something that I tend to forget sometimes is hydration. When was the last time you drank? Because sometimes we get confused and oh, I'm actually hungry, but it's been a couple hours or an hour or so, and I did a lot of walking around campus and I'm actually thirsty, but
Right.
I think I'm hungry. So
Very
that's
guilty of
something
that for sure.
to keep in mind.
Right. Yeah, I think I do that a lot. I confuse thirst for hunger, right?
Yeah, it always
Or just
helps to have
needing.
a beverage close by
Absolutely,
just to
yeah.
serve as a reminder.
Right. Okay. Um, what are good things if we are snacking? If we're choosing to have a snack instead of a meal, what are some foods that might be better to keep us feeling full? Or is there certain foods or food groups that help with that?
Oh, for sure. The way I like to think of snack is same thing, a mini meal. And what comprises of a meal? We have our carbohydrates, our fat, and our proteins. And that's the same thing for a snack. So just having those three components in a snack will not only help you stay fuller longer, and it's an opportunity to get extra nutrition as well into your meal or into your day rather than just relying on your meals. And
Right.
hey, let's be honest, sometimes those snacks are more of a dessert sometimes, which is that's
Right.
okay because hey, you know what, like you're on the go and you need something quick to grab. And yeah, so just trying to keep that well balanced um,
Right.
portion or aspect to your snacks.
I feel like sometimes if I eat like a fruit or something that has more sugar in it, I actually get more hungry. Is that something that makes sense to you? Is that
Yeah,
something that
definitely. Hey, like if it's more sugar, you definitely get that energy rush. But if it's lacking the protein or the fat, then we have those. We'll call them empty calories because it's mostly sugar, right? So you'll get the
right?
energy, but you're going to be hungry really quickly after.
Okay. Is there like a limit? I know a lot of snacks, especially if you're buying them from, somewhere quick on campus or on the way home. Is there a limit for sodium intake that we want to kind of watch for if we're reading a label?
Yeah, definitely. So, according to Canada's Food Guide, our upper limit for sodium is about 2,300 milligrams. And just a quick little easy way when you're reading your labels is anything that's 5% or less is considered low. So not really adding really any nutritional value to your daily meal intake or daily food intake rather. And 15% or higher would be considered a substantial amount or something that's going to actually benefit you or is a lot. So let's say sodium is more than 15%, and that's based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So that would be a very salty item.
Yeah, right. So kind of like give yourself an end limit and spread it throughout the day instead of
Mm-hmm.
just on a particular snack or a meal. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm like a lot of people when I need a break. Sometimes instead of grabbing food, I'll grab like a coffee. I know a lot of people that will grab like an energy drink that has caffeine in it. Is there um, a certain like food combination or a certain snack that you would suggest? Maybe instead of grabbing that coffee at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock to help you kind of fuel you for the rest of the day.
Yeah, definitely. I know for myself, like I'll consider this a little bit of a treat, but like a healthy treat. I love lattes. So
Hmm.
with lattes, I actually don't drink coffee. I prefer a tea latte, just because tea has some of those extra antioxidants and a little bit of extra vitamins and minerals, just a tad. But with the latte, you have your whether you're using regular milk or a milk substitute, whether it's oat or almond or soy, it still has that protein and those fats in there, right? So that's going to give you that feeling of fullness.
Right.
And, you know, let's say you're going to Starbucks, let's be real, there's a lot of sugar in that one. So if you ask for at least half sweet or to cut down on the syrups, then that could
Right.
be a potentially healthier option than, let's say, a Red Bull, for example.
I'll jump in there. So I noticed at Starbucks if you get a half sweet, and it's a specialty drink, like
Mm-hmm.
if it's a caramel macchiato,
Okay.
they'll put half the sweetener that they usually do, but they'll still dump the caramel in it. So just keep that in mind for sure.
Right.
That happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
that
it can
happens.
be a snack. I mean, it's best if you make it at home, right? But if you're out and about, then that's something to be mindful of. And just to go back a little bit to the first part of your
Mhm.
question. So, what are some, healthier go to snacks? Keeping your snack as, I guess, close to the original form as possible, or at least less processed as possible. So, like
Right.
fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, pairing that with hummus, or if you have fruit, you can pair it with some cottage cheese or plain yogurt. Also, Taziki. I love Taziki. And one thing that I actually learned is that depending on the brand that makes it, you really have to read the ingredient label because they'll substitute out that Greek yogurt in place of, so they'll have a little bit less Greek yogurt, but they'll add in either sour cream or like a mayo base, which is definitely more
Right.
fat and less nutritious than a Greek yogurt. So yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
always feel
another
like if
option.
you can make your snacks instead of buying them, you not only don't have all the additives and preservatives in it, but you can kind of measure out how sweet you want it and the exact ingredients that you want to cook with and bake with and eat, right? So you can kind of keep a better track like that, and it's more convenient, obviously, it's just to grab something, but um,
Exactly.
the best way is to make your own, prepare your own. In the long run, it's going to help you out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are touching a lot on mental health this week, as it's our wellness week. So I just wanted to see if you had any suggestions for food that kind of help stabilize our mood and can improve our mental health.
Yeah, definitely. So there's actually quite a bit of, it's a newer field, but there is quite a bit of emerging research coming out now between the connection between your gut and your brain. And it's showing that the gut and your bacteria, it really does well on a varied diet. So the more options you have, the more variability that you include, not only in your meal, but your snacks as well. It's been shown to positively impact your mental health. So one of my, another favorite go-to snack of mine are, fresh berries with Greek yogurt, because you have your fresh fruits, you have that little bit of natural sugar, but they're absolutely loaded with antioxidants. And with the Greek yogurt, you have your protein and your healthy fat. Um, and one thing to keep in mind is some snacks have, a health halo, we'll call it. Anything that's vegan or gluten free. So sometimes, there'll be like a little bit more added sugar because there's less fat or vice versa. Um, and yeah, with the gluten free, some of those say binding agents in the wheat are substituted for sugar or fat just to make it taste as good and keep that same consistency in the product. But I mean, if you're celiac or you have to avoid gluten, then, of course it makes sense. But if you don't have to, then I'd say just read the label and really compare the two products, and you'll be able to tell.
Right. Okay. So just, I guess, be more aware of what you're putting in your body, and
Yeah, label
don't just
reading's really
rip open the
important.
package, throw it out, and eat it. Um, I know a lot of people have difficulty eating at night, snacking at night. Do you have any strategies that you use to help people kind of snack better at night, or any kind of rules of thumb for snacking at night?
Oh yeah, for sure. So number one, when was the last time, like when did you have dinner? What was your dinner time? And seeing, and what time are you going to bed? I know with midterms now coming up, that's everyone's schedule's a little bit out of whack, and snacking is going to be a little bit more commonplace. So just like snacking at any other time of the day, just keeping those carbs, healthy fats, and proteins into the mix, and trying to be mindful of your portion size. And one thing, not only with portion size to keep in mind, is how fast are you eating that snack? Because there is a delay between when our stomach tells our brain, hey, I'm full. So the faster you eat, your brain won't get the message in time. And by the time it does get the message, you might be stuffed or overly full. But you want to keep your stomach and your brain happy by eating a little slower and listening to those fullness cues.
Right. Okay. Um, what you touched a little bit on the, I think, pre and probiotics and things that are going on in your gut. Are those labeled on food labels, or should people like maybe do some research, or like be aware of kind of like what foods contain pre and probiotics?
Yeah, sometimes they are actually on the label. For example, let's say a probiotic, that would be kefir, and that's typically how it's marketed as a probiotic.
Okay.
Or same thing with Activia, that's another popular commercial that comes to mind. But something else that would be a probiotic would be sauerkraut, for example. So just anything that's really fermented would be a probiotic, and a prebiotic would consist of something, to make it very plain and simple, something that has a lot of fiber. So it works together. The pre and the probiotics work together in that the prebiotics kind of prepare the gut. So that way, when the probiotics do come down the GI tract, it can be better absorbed.
Okay.
That's just
Um,
an oversimplified version.
right. No, it's good. I think it gives people just enough information so they can kind of look into it as well. But I think I think people are there's a lot of confusion on what they are. So I think that's really helpful. And
Mm-hmm.
knowing that some foods might have it labeled, some don't, but what you're looking for the probiotic is more fermented foods.
Right.
Right. And then prebiotics aren't necessarily fermented already. They could be just like fresh fruits,
Yeah,
vegetables, and
fresh
grains.
fruits, fresh vegetables. That's why, combining your foods, for example, the fresh vegetables with, um, let's say, Taziki, that could be a potential example, or the berries with Greek yogurt.
Right.
So just depending on the yogurt you get, try and avoid those sugary yogurts. And then again, label reading with that, that's the best way to know.
Awesome. And what are your go-to snacks? Like, what do you usually have at least once a week, or maybe once a day?
Pretty much whatever I have in the fridge or what's available at the fresh food company. But
Right.
I really like, let's say, fresh cut melons, cantaloupe, honeydew with some pineapple and cottage cheese,
Right.
or vegetables with hummus. Um, Smoothies are an ultimate favorite of mine, because that way you can just combine a whole bunch of, you can do like a veggie smoothie or fruit. I prefer the fruit. I like sweeter
Right.
items. But yeah, with like berries, throw in some nuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. Um,
Great way to reduce the food waste too, right? Just whatever you have left over in the in your fridge, just throw it in. If it tastes good together,
exactly.
put it
Then
in
you
the
can
blender.
add in, your dairy substitute if you can't have dairy, or if you can, then yeah, it's just a good overall base and something that's easy to take on the go and it's tasty.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, I really appreciate your time. Is there kind of any resources you want to kind of leave us with, or any websites that you want to drop before we go?
For sure. So we have liveitgood.ca, and that's a fantastic site that comes out with new articles every Thursday, just relating to health overall, not necessarily nutrition, but they do have quite a bit of nutrition articles.
Okay.
And unlockfood.ca, that's another website that dietitians contribute to, and that's another fantastic resource to learn more about, let's say, prebiotics and probiotics, or snacking in general. Yeah, so both websites are fantastic, and can't lie, I use those two whenever I need a few ideas, even for myself when coming up with meals or snacks, or just need something different.
Right. Right. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I hope everyone I'm sure they did get a lot out of it. I know it's, like I said, something that we eat every single day, and especially now that we're home, we always have questions. So I hope we answered a lot of everybody's questions. So snack well today, snack up, and enjoy the rest of our wellness week. And we have more chats for the rest of the week. But thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day. Take
Thanks,
care.
everyone. Bye now.